Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Janvi and welcome to another video. So in today's video, I want to talk about how to pick your research topic for PhD. I know it can be a difficult question for everyone, and even if you are very sure about what is the broad topic that you want to work on, it can be difficult to find the exact question that you want to work on, right? It's not easy to find the research gap or the novelty in your work sometimes. For me, finding it was actually a bit difficult because I had done a major switch of research fields in my PhD. I did my master's in entomology, which is basically study of insects. And then for my PhD, I joined CES, which is Center for Ecological Sciences. So I'm doing my PhD in ecological sciences in a theoretical ecology lab, which is so I have a interdisciplinary background, you can say. So that is something that makes it difficult, but also makes it very interesting. So I decided to do my PhD in a field that I basically had no clue about and I have never learned about. So I think the reason that I'm telling you this is so that you know that it's okay to do something entirely new for your PhD. It's not very important to follow the conventional path in academia, and it's not necessary that whatever you have studied for your master's or your bachelor's, you have to necessarily continue in the same line of research. You can think about doing something entirely new as well. So yeah, when I joined a lab which was a very new field of research for me, it was initially a little difficult, but over time I was able to learn the methods of research in this area. And what I learned is that we always feel like if I have never learned this thing before in my life, I won't be able to do it. But the thing is, you can do anything that you put your mind to, and it just takes some time and a lot of effort and a lot of dedication. But if you want to do something, you can always do it, and it's never too late to start, and it's never too late to do something new, right? So yeah, one major tip that I want to give is that you don't have to stick with what you have done so far. You can always explore new areas of research, and as long as you can find a lab that will take you in, it's okay to switch fields as well. But yeah, once you have settled with your research area and you know this is the lab that you're going to work in, this is the area that you want to work on, then finding the specific question that you want to work on can again be challenging. One of the major thing that is very important, I think, is agreement with your supervisor, right? So sometimes you want to work on something, but your supervisor is not very knowledgeable in that specific area, and he cannot help you a lot with that research. And sometimes your supervisor have a great question in his mind, but you may not be so much interested in that. So yeah, there can be a lot of conflicts that can arise while deciding your question in terms of the agreement with your supervisor. So I think you should not take it very lightly. You should always make sure that your supervisor agrees with your question as well, because he's the person who's going to guide you for the rest of your journey, for the rest of your research. And if you have joined a specific lab, then it should some more or less align with the expertise of your supervisor, and it should be a field that he is able to guide you in, and something that he thinks is actually good enough for your PhD. Because if you don't make that agreement early in your PhD, it can cause trouble for you later, because if that doesn't work out, your supervisor might not be able to help you much later. So yes, agreement is also very important. For me, when I joined the lab, I knew that the area is going to change, and I did not had the specific question in my mind. I was still exploring the field, but my supervisor had a few interesting questions in his mind that he offered me to think about if I was interested. And well, we eventually found something that we both settled on, and we both were interested enough to work on. So yeah, that's how I find agreement with my supervisor. To go into more details, I initially wanted to work on insects, but then my lab had been working on fishes for a long time, and we already had a lot of labs set up for that. So I eventually settled with fishes instead of insects, because I thought that, I don't know, in a way convenient, but also I will get to learn something new if I work on a different test subject for my PhD. So yeah, eventually we both settled to work on fishes. It's just in terms of the test subject, not the specific question. But yeah, that is one thing. Every person have a different kind of relationship with the supervisor, and you can have different kinds of challenges, and you have to figure out how to deal with those. I cannot give one major advice that works for everyone. Of course, that's not possible, but what I would say is it's important to make that agreement early in your research stage and not go entirely against what your supervisor is saying. It won't be a very good decision, I guess. After that, once you have found your lab, once you've found your research topic, now comes the specific question, right? What is it that I'm gonna ask? What is going to be my hypothesis? What is going to be my question? So for that, I want to say is sometimes it's not easy to find that specific question and hypothesis at the beginning of your PhD, and that is completely fine, because we are just starting to do research, we are just figuring things out, and it's not important or even possible sometimes to find that specific question at the beginning of your PhD. So I think that's completely fine, as long as you have the broad understanding of your subject and broad understanding of what you want to do, and you have found the research gap, or at least broadly found that okay, this is what I want to work on. So you can always start with some exploratory work, do some initial preliminary experiments to figure out how does it work, and find some preliminary results to figure out what kind of questions you can ask later. So that is completely fine to do exploratory science initially in your PhD and find the exact question in the later stages. I think there's nothing wrong with that, and that is what I did as well. So initially I knew that I wanted to work in collective motion of mixed species schools, but I did not know what is the exact question that I'm going to ask. So I started with doing some experiments and analyzing the results to see how do fishes actually even behave in a mixed species group, because not a lot of studies have been done in this field. So it was hard for me to find the specific question at the beginning of my PhD. So I started with broader questions like what is the structure and dynamics of that group, and how do they move. And as I started exploring the broader dynamics of the group, I was able to find the specific questions that I want to answer through my PhD. And I'm still in the process, I'm still finding out more as I go forward. But I just wanted to say that initially it was very exploratory for me, and I'm still exploring a lot of things as I go forward. But we should not try to find the exact specific question right in the beginning. It's great if you already have it. It may or may not work, but even if you don't have it, it's okay to move forward with a broader idea in your mind and make it more specific in the later stages of your PhD. So yeah, that those are the things that I want to talk about. And as you move forward with your research, you're going to keep finding new things, and your specific questions will keep on changing. However, the broad one will remain same, but your project will change a lot as you will move forward. It's not like whatever we present as our first synopsis is actually not what remains. It doesn't remain same by the end. A lot of things will change, and that is what research is all about, because you're finding something new, you're finding something that has not been known before. So it is not easy to make the exact correct prediction in the beginning, right? So it's okay to start with something broad, and then it will keep evolving over the course of your PhD, and that is completely fine as long as you have actually made a good contribution to broader research area, right? So yeah, I guess that's all I want to talk about. If you have any more specific questions about finding your research area or your research topic, feel free to drop it in the comments, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and that's all. Thank you for watching.